Year of creating an on-campus incubator or business accelerator for students who are interested in starting their own companies. And we've been planning and we've been talking about getting it started. We should be ready to have the first version of that open by next semester. And it was through this sort of planning process that I was introduced to our guest speaker today. And we were so fortunate that he agreed to come as a guest speaker to our class, our Business 155 class, which is the Small Business Management class. And the way that it happened was after he agreed to be our guest speaker, I was excited about it. I told the students about it, and I also told the business club about it. So I'm also the co-advisor for the Miramar College Business Club, and they had the idea of combining the November Business Club meeting with our class, and that's what we're doing today. So you're taking a class if you didn't know it. You're here for a class. So I'll go ahead now and introduce you to the Miramar College Business Club, and I'll start by introducing you to the advisor, the faculty advisor, Dawn.
Hi everyone, my name is Dawn Diskin. I'm the faculty advisor for the Miramar Business Club.
I'm Chris Morgan. I'm the president of the Miramar Business Club.
Hi, I'm Rhoda Passamonte. I'm the public relations officer.
Hello, I'm Madeline Lay, and I'm the Associated Student Government Representative for Miramar Business Club.
Hi, my name is McKenna Texter, and I'm the vice president and treasurer.
Hey folks, I'm Jake Beal, and I'm the web tech.
We want to thank you all for joining us today as Miramar Business Club and Entrepreneurship Program welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Claude Jones, to our November club meeting.
We also wanted to tell you a little bit about the Miramar Business Club. We are a student-managed on-campus organization made up of different students from different majors across the campus. Any student can join the Miramar Business Club, no matter your age, your background, your major. The only requirement is that you are interested in business.
We hold our meetings once a month here on campus, and managing the Miramar Business Club is like owning your own business and managing an actual company. So with that, it goes along with we manage our own finances. We plan and host our own events. We create flyers and have networking events, and we get the opportunity to meet with amazing business and entrepreneurship leaders like Mr. Jones here.
We encourage you all to join the business club today. If you haven't signed the sign-up sheet when you first walked in, make sure to sign up on your way out. It's free to join, and it does look really good on your transfer application and also your resume.
We're actually currently looking for students to run for our officer positions next year because we're all going to be transferring over. And for those of you that are interested, feel free to contact any one of the current officers or one of our advisors, Professor Hertz or Professor Diskin, in the rear courtyard after the presentation.
We will be networking after Mr. Jones's presentation in the courtyard, right outside and to the left. There'll be free snacks and drinks and the chance to network with other people who are also interested in business. We hope you'll all stick around to say hello, even if it is for just a couple minutes.
And now we're going to ask you to join us, Miramar Business Club and the Entrepreneurship Program, in welcoming our very special guest speaker, Mr. Claude Jones.
Testing. How's everyone doing today? Good. How's everyone doing today? Good. There you go. A little excitement. I know it's a little bit, in the afternoon and it's sleepy, but hopefully I'm gonna get things pumped up and ready to go. So I had a chance to talk to a few, different people, and I sort of realized that we have everyone in here on the different scales on the entrepreneur sort of spectrum. So there's gonna be a little bit for everyone, here today. So I like walking around, so I'm going to be moving back and forth. So hopefully that'll be okay with you all. Now what you see on the screen here is a stadium. And as we all know, there's two parts to a stadium. We have the field and we have the sidelines. Now the field, this is where all the action happens. Right? Stars are born on the field. The sidelines, this is typically reserved for individuals that don't have enough skills to be on the field, got ejected from the game for whatever reason, or they were injured. Now, if we were to take a look at the stadium and maybe apply it to, I don't know, the game of life, you could say that the sideline represents the doubts, negative influences, insecurities that we have that are preventing us from actually getting on the field to get the experience that we need to reach our full potential. What I'd like to share with you today is just my personal experience about the guidelines that I use to get off the sidelines and my personal journey of me going through entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship, passionpreneurship, and my path towards success. And I hope that, the lessons that I have are something that will inspire you, to allow you guys to continue to make forward progress towards success in your careers. Sound good? All right. Now, before I get started, I want to explain what I do in my day-to-day job. So I work for Walmart. How many people have ever shopped at a Walmart store here? Just show of hands. Okay. That's good. Helping support the company. As far as Walmart goes, it's really impressive. You all have heard of the Fortune 500, Global Fortune 500. They rank, 500 companies based on revenue that they make a year. Walmart's been number one for the last 6 years. They make $500 billion a year in revenue. $500 billion in revenue. And that's not the only staggering number that Walmart has. They have over 270 million people that shop, whether they're going to the store or they're shopping online, 200 million a week. They have 11,000 stores worldwide, 2.4 million associates that work for Walmart worldwide. Just in the US alone, 1.5 million people that work for Walmart. And if you're shopping online, you're gonna have to weed through over 100 million items. These are the numbers that Walmart's kind of ranking through. When we think about Walmart and the scale of Walmart, technology plays a very important role. So while I work for Walmart, I actually work for Walmart Labs. So Walmart Labs is the tech arm of Walmart. So when you start looking at technology and anything that sort of goes into tech, whether you're going to the store, the self-checkout systems, the handheld devices that associates might use to scan product online, shopping online itself. There's voice commerce where we integrate with Google Home or Siri. There's machine learning, big data that we use to help with supply chain management or availability. Anything that you think about, technology-wise is powered through Walmart Labs. And here's the beauty of it. I'm actually an entrepreneur at Walmart. I build custom products to help support Walmart's omnichannel strategy. And so I have a team of about 70 people, everyone from product development to UX design, to program management, to software, to architecture. I'm responsible for helping to go figure out what's happening within the business and identifying opportunities to create new projects. So, you have entrepreneurs that are in this room right now. That's pretty what you much do day to day. I get to innovate and create new projects and deliver things to help scale Walmart. That's what my day-to-day job is. And not only do I do that, our products are used everywhere throughout the company, across the enterprise. So if you went on Walmart.com, or if you shop for groceries online, or if you went into the store, you're gonna see, various pieces where my systems are being used to help power that. In addition to that, we're across the country, whether we're working in the UK, or working in Canada, or even down in Mexico. The tools that I build help support that. The other important thing that I want to share with you is that I have the opportunity to help establish Walmart Labs out here in Southern California. So again, when we start thinking about entrepreneurship and like a startup type feel, 7 years ago, August of 2012, started with 13 people in a 1,000 square foot building, very small space. Now, for those that have been with the startup company and try to do something, this is kind of the cramped thing that the environment that I was in. Fast forward 7 years later, grown the office to over 180 people, moved into a 30,000 square foot space. I have the ability to help grow the office, come up with the location strategy, the hiring strategy, help build the culture, for the office to help keep and attract talent. It's something that I've been able and fortunate enough to be able to do. In addition to that, I'm the Walmart Labs ambassador. So when you think about Walmart, you don't think about, man, Walmart's a great tech company. You think about the brick and mortar stores, right? And so how do you help build the Walmart Labs brand? Well, that's something that I've been fortunate enough to be able to do as well. So I tell people that I work for the biggest startup, in the world. And I have the opportunity to be an entrepreneur to where I get to innovate and build products every single day. So why did I just tell you all that? Am I bragging about, the cool things that I'm doing at Walmart? No. The reason why I told you this is because it's so easy to look at where someone is in the future right now, but that we don't tend to sort of look at what it took to kind of get there. And that's what I want to share with you right now. I want to go through and really give you some insight to my journey from going from the sidelines to the field, and how resiliency and passion was something that I used in order to find my way towards success. You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with resiliency first. We're going to start with resiliency. We're going to start at the beginning. So this is my beginning. This is me. I was about 10 or 11 years, about 10 years old in this picture. I want to talk a little bit about my family. My father. I didn't know my real father. What I do know about my real father is what my mom told me. My mom mentioned that he was a firefighter. He was an alcoholic, a drug addict, and he was abusive. So my mom didn't hang around with him too long. So she was a single mom. As a single mom, she was also in the military. She was a naval officer. Lived out in Chicago. That's where I was born. I think after a couple cold winters, she was like, I don't want to live in Chicago anymore. So she moved out to Hawaii, where she met my stepfather, who was also in the military. He was in the Marine Corps. He was a gunny sergeant in the Marine Corps. At the age of 3, she married him. Fast forward a little bit later, I had a stepsister on my dad's side who was from a previous relationship, and I had 3 half-brothers. So this is sort of my family. And when we talk about the sideline, I mentioned that there's doubts, insecurities and negative influences that tend to crop up every now and then. And that was my childhood. My stepfather was a very abusive individual, both verbally and physically. I want you to imagine for a moment waking up every day being told that you were stupid, you were dumb, that no matter what you did, you would never amount to anything in life. I want you to imagine for a moment getting beaten so bad that you have bruises, welts on your body, and you would have to wear long clothes, shirts and pants, so that when you go outside, people didn't have to ask questions. You didn't have to answer the question about what happened, what's going on. That was what I was dealing with on a daily basis growing up in my household. My parents worked really hard. They wanted to make sure that we had a better life than they had growing up. And so they moved us to a nice area. But see, that area, they had to work. They were already in the military working hard, but they had to work extra hard to kind of, just kind of keep the house and keep things going. And so I had adult responsibilities at a very young age. And adult responsibilities, I had to take care of my 3 younger brothers. I was sort of a parental figure in the household where I was cooking, cleaning, getting them ready for school, bathing them. My mom told me a story once that my younger brothers, they would make like Father's Day cards, at school. They made them out to me because I spent more time with, them than my actual parents did. So that was hard. I couldn't be a kid. At 9 years old, all I wanted to do was just be a kid. Couldn't do it. Had to help the family out. I mentioned that my parents, they wanted to make sure that we were in a nice area, but that area that we moved into didn't take too kindly to people of my skin tone. So I constantly had to deal with, a very racist environment. Whether that was walking to school, having to worry about getting beat up, I'd have to find alternate routes just to get home because I was just tired of just getting bruised, beat up, made fun of. I remember one story where I was at a local rec center, and we had this rule in the household that when the streetlights come on, you gotta come home. So I was out playing basketball with my friends, having a great time. Time slipped away. Streetlights come on, I'm like, oh man, I need to get home. Got on my bike, I'm riding home. As I'm riding home, I noticed that there was this brown van that was kind of coming on the opposite side of the street. As that van started getting closer, I noticed there were people in white hoods, bats, and chains. They were screaming obscenities at me. There's things that, I probably wouldn't repeat here. And as they're getting closer, my heart starts pumping. I'm about 12 years old at this time. They swerve the car and they start coming on to the same side that I'm at. They bump over on the sidewalk and they were literally trying to run me over. I ditched my bike. Fortunately, I was kind of close to the school that, the schoolyard that we're at, San Carlos, in the San Carlos area, Pershing Junior High. I hop over there. I'm hiding in this little cubby area. I don't know how long I stayed there, but I was just scared to death about not even feeling safe in my neighborhood. This is like 1990. Not only was I dealing with that at school, or in the neighborhood, I was dealing with stuff at school as well. I was bullied all the time. I was bullied because I wasn't black enough. We lived in a middle class area. I didn't get bussed in like some of the other kids. I didn't talk the way that they talked. I didn't dress the way that they dressed. And I just felt alone. So I want you to imagine not feeling loved at home, feeling that there was no protection, having to grow up fast, walk around your neighborhood, you're not feeling safe. You go to school, you're not feeling safe. I will tell you, I felt, I don't know how many times that I thought the world would be a better place without me. I cried. I was upset. I was angry. I was literally becoming a product of my environment. And people don't understand that sometimes. Like, you can become a product of your environment when you feel like there was no hope. And the only way that I could get attention was by just showing out. Getting bad grades, talking back, getting into fights, because someone noticed me when I did these negative things. Now, it wasn't until 1990, a man by the name of Mr. Baker came up to me. This is my 7th grade guidance counselor. He said, "Hey, Claude, you know what? Come here for a second." I walked over. He says, "I know what your problem is." It's like, "Man, you don't know me." He's like, "No, I know what your problem is. I was just like you." So it kind of made me a little intrigued. I said, "Okay, what's going on?" He says, "You know what? I believe in you more than you believe in yourself." I was like, "What does that mean?" Like, I'm just trying to process, like, what does that mean? He doesn't know me, but he believes in me. He says, "Look, I'm going to tell you something. You're in 7th grade right now. Your grades suck. There's a program called the Golden Pyramid Award. It's for African American students that get a 3.0 or above, and they offer it in 9th grade. He says, I want to work with you. You have 3 years. I want to work with you to see if we can't get you a 3.0 GPA. So, he was describing to me about this thing, and I felt, you know what? This is the first time that I had someone really put me in an environment where there was love, trust, and support. It felt different. I said, let me give this a try. Mr. Baker worked with me. And what I will tell you is in 1992, I won that award. I got a 3.0 GPA. That 2-year process, I worked hard to kind of get that. And I will tell you, it was probably the best day of my life. To be able to get dressed up, this was me dressing up. I was dressed up here, and I had my little medallion. I had a chance to go to this banquet. They had food. My name was in this little, this booklet. And it had my name with the 3.0 next to it. There was other people's names. There were other people that had medallion. People were clapping and cheering for me. My parents actually showed up. I was feeling good. And as I looked through that book, I saw that there were 3.0s, there were 3.5s, and there were 4.0s. And the idea that Mr. Baker taught me to believe in myself, I said, you know what? I want to see if I can't get a 4.0 GPA. Not only did I win that award in 1992, but I won it all throughout my high school career. And I graduated high school with a 4.0 GPA. And what this shows is that Mr. Baker did not have to sit there and talk to me. He could have minded his own business. He didn't have to sit there and work with me for 2 years to encourage me to do something. But once he laid that foundation on what needed to happen, I was off and running. And what this taught me was resiliency. Because my situation was so bad growing up that I had someone to kind of pull me out of the ditch to help me get to where I needed to get to. And as entrepreneurs, you're going to run into challenges, whether you're running through challenges now or whatever it is that you're going through, things might look bad. But here's the thing. There are qualities of a resilient person that I want to share with you. These are the things that I had looked at for myself that has helped me on my entrepreneurial journey for everything that I've been through. 4 things that I want to share with you. The first one is you want to make sure that you seek out positive people. I was talking with someone here about the importance of a network. It is so important for you to have a network. You might have an idea, a thought, and imagine going to someone and saying, man, I have this great idea, this will go, man, that sucks. Oh, that will never work. How would that make you feel? Or would it be like, you know what, that's a great idea, but what if we tweaked it just a little bit to see what we can't do to kind of make something successful? Having a very positive network is a very important thing. Surround yourselves around positive people. That's what Mr. Baker was to me. He was a very positive influence in my life. The second is around finding the right opportunities. I had a choice, giving the example when I was growing up, to pick and choose what opportunity I wanted to go down. I could have hung out with sort of the bad seeds of my friends because that's where I was heading, or I had the opportunity to transform my life and see if I couldn't go for that 3.0 GPA. I had a choice to make. Think about the types of choices that you have to make day to day. Where's your mind at? Is it a right opportunity or the wrong opportunity? Are you trying to do something quick to try to make a quick fix to something, or are you going to be diligent about what needs to be done? The other important thing about identifying the right opportunities is defining realistic goals. I had a 1.8 GPA. I needed to get to a 3.0. And I didn't need to get to a 3.0 in a month. It was a 2-year process. A 2-year process. That was a very realistic goal for me. As you start thinking about the businesses that you're starting or the things that are going on for you, are you setting up incremental goals? Or are you dreaming so big that you might end up getting discouraged and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be successful? And this is where the last one comes in. Embrace failure. I don't know how many times in my life that I failed. And even when I was going on that journey to get that 3.0, I've had a couple bad tests that came through. But this is where, if you have that failure, having a very strong support system, reevaluating your opportunities, reevaluating your goals, failure is just a learning experience. That's all that is. And the more experience you have, the stronger you're going to be to kind of fight another day. I kept these 4 things with me. I learned them at a very young age. I live by these things. And because I live by them, I've been on so many different paths from my entrepreneurial journey with businesses that I started, things that I've done, the impact that I've been able to make in other people's lives within the community. I'm not going to cover all these things, but one of the things you might notice is I started my first business at the age of 12. What was I doing at the age of 12? I was selling candy. You know why I was selling candy? Because I wanted a Super Nintendo video game console. How many of you know what a Super Nintendo video game console is? All right, we got some old schoolers in here. Super Nintendo video game console. It cost $100 and some change. My parents were not going to give me $100 for a video game console. And even if they did have the money, it just wasn't happening. So I said, you know what, I really want this video game console. I had $5 from a birthday card that I got from an uncle. So I took that and I was talking to Mr. Baker, my counselor. I was telling him about this video game console I wanted to get. He says, you know, Claude, find something that, start your own business, find something that kids want. What do you think kids want? I was like, candy? He was like, okay, we'll sell some candy. Went to the store, bought a box of blow pops. I was selling from the quarter. I was a blow pop guy. I was standing at my locker. I would wait there, in between classes. People would come because I wanted candy. Quarter here, quarter there. I upped my inventory to bubble tape and a few other things. I wasn't making money fast enough, so I recruited other people and they were getting a cut from what was going on. At 12 years old, I was starting my own little business. In 6 months, I got the $100, got my Super Nintendo, and that it just allowed me to kind of get that strength. And whether that sort of mentality helped me start my own tutoring service when I was in college. It helped me start my own web design business. It helped me start a foundation. I donate $20,000 a year of my own money. I've been doing it for the last 4 years to give back to individuals in need. These are all things that when I start looking at how resiliency played a role in my life, what I've been able to accomplish. How you guys doing with me so far? Yeah. Okay. I'd like to move on to the next part, which is passion. I have a story here. I talked about all these things that I do at Walmart Labs. Here's the interesting thing. I'm a self-taught developer. I do not have a degree in computer engineering. I graduated college. It's in business administration. but I was interested in doing programming. So I went to the library, got a book about coding, and started to code. So, as part of that, I remember going in for my first kind of real tech job interview, and it was at a company called Kayenta. And I sit down and I'm talking to the hiring manager, and he's giving me all these acronyms about Java, JSPs, EJBs, and all this stuff. And he stops in the middle of the interview and he says, Claude, what's wrong? I said, I have no clue what you're talking about. He says, it's okay, you're hired. I was like, what? I said, why'd you hire me? He says, listen, you're someone who's motivated. You're self-taught. He says, you're honest. You're driven. And I know that if I put you in an environment that allows you to excel and succeed, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Now, that kind of rang a bell what Mr. Baker was telling me. And throughout my entire career, I've had individuals that have kind of come and given me an opportunity when other people wouldn't have. How many of you would have ever gone to an interview, failed every single question, and someone tell you that you're hired? That they've kind of looked beyond the paper, look beyond how you might be dressed or what you look like or sort of what's going on, looking beyond that. And the passion that people have shown to me, the love, support, and trust that they've given to me, that's where my passion stems from. And I wanted to do something about it and make an impact. So, last year, I started an organization called San Diego Tech Hub. The idea behind San Diego Tech Hub is it's trying to combine business, professional individuals, with social good. And the big thing around San Diego Tech Hub is that I first started using this as a way to help promote Walmart Labs, to understand sort of the demographic or the segment here, because we needed to hire a bunch of people in the new office. And as I started to talk to people about, hey, what do you think about San Diego? Is there talent? People like, there's no talent here in San Diego. You have to go to, the Bay Area, or you have to go to Dallas, or you have to go to Seattle. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. San Diego has talent. San Diego is an innovative city. We got some collaboration here and the things that we can do. And I was so sick and tired of people dogging San Diego out because I believed in San Diego. And I said, you know what? I want to see if I can't find other like-minded individuals that believe in San Diego too. So I went up, I sent a meeting, and I said, or I actually went on LinkedIn, I said, hey, I did this spill about I believe in San Diego. If you believe in San Diego too, why don't you come along with me? So I had 30 people come out to this first meeting, and we were talking about how could we help transform San Diego? What were some of the problems? What can we do to really help make a difference? To create equal opportunity for everyone, and really to invest in our hometown. Just a meetup. Well, 3 months later, that meetup started growing. It started growing. And now we have over 2,000 people that are part of this movement doing sort of what's going on in just a 10-month time period. And you think about what one person's passion has about what's going on. You think about building a business, and that's exactly what we're doing with San Diego Tech Hub. We're starting to build a business around it. Imagine if you wanted to go for a job interview and you didn't have to worry about trying to prepare the perfect resume. Imagine if you didn't have to sit through the tedious interview process to where people are judging you and really scrutinizing everything when all you want to say is just give me a chance. Imagine if you can network, but do it authentically. Building real relationships. Because by building real relationships, that's where the job opportunities happen. That's where the magic happens. Every single job that I've gotten has been based on some relationship that I've gotten. Even my job at Walmart Labs and me helping to bootstrap that office, this is what happened. They flew out to Southern California. I went to a Mexican restaurant. The guy said, hey, what do you do? And I said, this is what I do. I was working at Yahoo at the time. I explained what I did. He says, well, if you come to Walmart, how would you fix some of the problems? I gave him my little spiel. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. If you can find 8 other people, we'll open an office down here. I'll get clearance from the CEO and see what we can do. That happens all the time, right? Imagine if that could happen all the time. Imagine if we could build these, real relationships. And so my passion is to sort of pay things forward to create opportunities for everyone to have an experience like that. That's what I'm trying to do. And there's a movement happening. So in 2020, there's going to be some magical things happening with San Diego Tech Hub, but partnering and figuring out what's going on. But the idea is that this is a business. It's a business started from one person's passion. You guys follow me? Mm-hmm. All right. So now let's get to the meat of what I want to talk to you today about. Some of the lessons here. If you had the opportunity to do something that you are passionate about and make money, show of hands, how many people would do that? All right. I see some people aren't raising their hands. I don't know what's going on here. I know I would. This is what is referred to as a passionpreneur. A passionpreneur. How many people have heard of that term? Okay, well, we're going to break it down today. Let's look at what a passionpreneur is. And the idea and sort of the things I'm going to be talking to you about, and this principle can be applied to anything that you do, right? So yes, I'm labeling it passionpreneur, but even when you think about entrepreneurship and some of the things that we'll be talking about, it's about validating your idea and your plan to try to execute on it as quickly as possible, right? To see if it has some legs and if it makes sense for you to invest your time and energy on it. So when we think about a passionpreneur, if you're going to ask yourself, well, could I be a passionpreneur? The answer is yes. You know, whether you're doing something, if you love to read, if you love to write, say if you love to talk, you love event planning, things that you might be passionate about, you love to paint. Imagine if you had a special skill with painting and you created a meetup group to where you had this skill, to where you had people come and they were charging $5 a month to kind of learn what you need to. And you might have some wine and some snacks and stuff, and you have a great ambiance and environment and people are coming out and you start getting your name out there. How could you take your passion and love for painting and art and turn that into something that someone else might resonate and be able to do? That's what being a passionpreneur is. You see people doing it all the time. People are making money playing video games. People are making money being goofy on YouTube. People are making money with their art. People are making money if they love to write, to be able to, write persuasive, guides online about selling products and making money that way. There's so many different things that you could do, as a side hustle to generate money and make something happen. This is what it means to be a passionpreneur. Now, there's a couple misconceptions I want to sort of eradicate. And whether you're a passionpreneur or anything, I want to sort of go through this and sort of eliminate these types of things when you're trying to execute something fast. Number one, you don't need a lot of money to kind of jumpstart this. And I go back to me selling, blow pops and trying to get $100. I was a 12-year-old kid. I didn't have a lot of money, but I was able to accomplish my goal to get something started. The other thing is that you don't need to spend a lot of time. We're not talking that, hey, you got to spend 60, 70 hours a week to kind of jumpstart this and kind of get things going. Not at all. You have to have a very clear plan on what you need to do. That's going to take some time. But once you have that time, you start kind of digging into the details about what's realistic. That's the other start. You don't need, a formal education. I know so many millionaires that did not even graduate, college that are doing some things. I know a couple 12 to 10-year-old kids that have started some things, building apps and starting to monetize and make money from things. Now, I'm not saying don't go to school. Every path is different for individuals, but these things do help. The other thing is that you don't need a formal, detailed business degree to kind of get something going. And again, what we're talking about here is imagine if we all sat in a room and each of you had an idea and we said our goal is let's see what we can do to create something in 30 days or less. What would it take to make that happen? And when you really start breaking things down from a practitioner point of view, 30 days or less, that's like, hey, let's create an MVP of a product that I might have. You want to break something down to its smallest denominator to figure out how can I test and validate it to make sure things are okay. And what better way of doing something that you're passionate about to see. Okay, so guidelines to get off the sidelines. So I'm going to walk through these guidelines. There's 4 guidelines that I want to sort of walk the group through on, sort of validating, an idea or things that you have to see if it sticks and what's going on. Now, for those that already have their businesses, you might sort of go through the same thing and say, yep, I went through the exact same thing. For those that are kind of thinking about some ideas and things are going on, let's see if things sort of stick around that. Sound good? All right, so how many people in here have an idea that I saw you raise your hand. What's your idea?
Indoor farming.
Indoor farming.
Vertical farming.
What type of farming?
Indoor vertical farming.
Vertical farming. All right. So let's kind of go through this, and can we use your example to kind of go through and just see, now all we're doing is validating the idea if it's a high potential idea. You want to have another one? Is it good? Vertical farming?
Yeah.
Okay. So first is that we need to align on the goal. Anytime that you're coming up with a business idea or something, you want to align on what that goal is. So there's 3 different goals that you have. Either you're going to have one goal that's like, you know what? There's some sort of objective that I'm trying to accomplish. You might want a new pair of shoes, or go on a trip, or a nice outfit, right? There's some goal that you're trying to hit. In my case, when I was starting my business at 12, it was like I want to get my little Super Nintendo. That was a one and done type of thing. There's another type of goal that you might have, right? You want to make some supplemental income. Hey, I'm happy with my job or the way things are, but I just want a little extra money, just to make sure that the piggy bank isn't dry. Save some money for a rainy day. Or you're working a 9 to 5 and you're like, I hate working my 9 to 5 job. I like to do something brand new and start my career in what I'd like to do. So for you, what is your goal?
I do not want to work a 9 to 5.
All right. So you're looking at, look, I'm gonna go at my vertical farming and I want to eliminate the job that I'm doing now and have this sustain me day to day. Okay. So that's the first thing. You got your goal set. Second, you want to sort of identify your passion, right? That's the key ingredient of the passionpreneurship. So what's actually going on and how do you get this going? So the first is around a hobby. That's one of the easiest things. If you have a hobby that you think you might be able to kind of monetize on that, that's a no-brainer. The second one is, can you identify something that someone else might have a need for? And the last is it a problem that you actually have? So I'm going to take a guess that yours is a hobby. Is that correct?
Kind of. It's also I had some dietary problems in the last 5 years, and it's been a great supplement.
Okay, I like that. So this could be something where other people might have a similar thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I guess this would fall under that this is a business that might be an existing problem that other people might have.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. You want to retire, you actually have something that, or you actually are building a business around a need that other people might have that we want to sort of get around. Looking good. Now there's the idea about making money. Because if we're not making money around it, it is kind of a hobby, really. And if we're starting a business, we want to make sure that we're able to sustain that business and kind of do what we need to do. So there are 5 different types of sort of basis when you start thinking about it. You could sort of do research on this, and there's a lot of information. I'm just covering a few. But the first one is around the advertising space. Now in this particular case, if you chose to, as part of the vertical farming, what if you started a blog? Or there was information that you had, or the types of, based on dietary needs and what was going on, what you should grow. Imagine if you created an online forum for that, and because of the content that you created, that was something to where now you could start advertising, affiliate advertising. And for those that aren't familiar with that, all of a sudden you might start putting various product ads on your page, someone buys those ads, and next thing you know, you're getting a kickback, based on the content that you've created. So a lot of blogs and other forums, they're actually monetizing off of your content, but if you can own the content and something that's specialized, you can market it, boom, that's one way of being able to kind of monetize. Now, that's something you might retire on, depending on how many people are coming through the site and sort of what's going on. The second is around agency. The best way that I can describe this one, if you look at things like Etsy, Walmart, Amazon, those sorts of things, they've built a network or a platform. Or even like Uber, they built this platform where you have supply and demand, people are actually coming in, and so when transactions are actually being made, there's a certain commission that gets charged to the person that's provided the platform. So if you sort of look at your business model, if you were to use something like this, imagine if there was a network to where you might work with various distributors, to where you might have different seeds or different products that you're selling, or other types of things that help create the garden, the vertical garden, and what that looks like, and you might be supplementing that. So as people are kind of purchasing transactions or things, you might be getting a cut from that. That's one way that you could use that. The second is around, let me see here, license. And I look at, I use this as like the freemium and premium. Are you all familiar with that? And I always call it the bait and switch. You get these mobile games that come in, man, this is great. The next thing you know, oh, here's an extra, 50 cents or $1 or whatever to kind of unlock the additional features. The same type of thing. Imagine if you did create a blog site where you might have some free content on there, but you might have some videos, some detailed knowledge that if people paid, a monthly subscription or recipes or things that you might have based on the things that are being grown, or a cookbook or something that you offer, if you had access to that, there's a way that you can take that business model to where you give them just enough to get hooked, but then you kind of charge them with some of that extra, that premium, coming with a model where that subscription based or a one-time fee. Let's see, lifestyle. So let's say with your business, you go through and you've just branded yourself. I don't know how you would brand yourself, the vertical giant, you're a tall guy, the vertical giant of healthy eating, and you might have branded t-shirts, or you might white label certain products or things like that. And now because you build up your brand so strong based on what your product offering and what's going on, you can now start selling your own merchandise. Right? That's another way of being able to help monetize and doing things with what's going on. The last is around data, and this is like data is king. No matter what it is and what you're doing, if you have any business that is able to organize, curate data to where people want that data, it's just a magical thing. And whether you take that data and you charge a subscription for people to access that, or you charge an API, some service that people can integrate with that and kind of pull it into their system. But if there's anything that you're doing to where you're organizing content and data, you can build monetization solutions around everything with that and how people get access to that. So when you're thinking about your business, and especially with the goal is I want to sort of retire from my job or not have to work a 9 to 5, and you look at these various monetization strategies, and these are just some. If you do research on others, there's other ways that fall into these 5 categories. Will this be something that will help abstain the goal that you're trying to achieve? So always keep that in mind when you're thinking about kind of monetizing what's going on. How will that be sustainable? I'm talking very high level. I know there's other things about like the cost of business and other sorts of things, so I'm keeping things high level for this conversation. The last and most important one is around helping to ensure that your idea is a high potential idea. If it does not check these 3 things, it's okay. Come up with another idea. I have a list in my phone that has over maybe about 200 ideas. I just go through, I might be sitting down, I'm just writing all these ideas. And I go through and I validate to say, hey, is this a high potential idea? Some of these ideas are great, some of them aren't so great. And I get a laugh and a chuckle out of them. So now let's see if there's a high potential idea. So the first thing, is it something that's feasible? Feasibility here means that you have the opportunity to sort of do this on your own. You have the resources to do it on your own. Or, do you need to go and pay a lot of money to sort of get things done or help bootstrap it? Is this something that, you feel that you can just kind of jumpstart relatively quickly and you have the knowledge or can acquire the knowledge to do it on your own? All right, so check 1. Is this something to where you can make a profit from this?
At that economy of scale, yeah.
All right. So yes, and is this something that you feel that people would need? Yeah. Okay. So you check all 3. I think the most important thing is to look at as we think about the economy of scale, like what is it going to take to get there? Right? And there could be, when we talked about sort of that initial goal of, I might have one objective, right? So if that objective is I want to hit a milestone where I want to make, $100,000. If that happens, or $1,000, I want that to be my objective. And once I have that, I'd love to see if I can't get reoccurring revenue that continues to come in as I'm improving on my business model. And once I start getting that reoccurring revenue, I'd like to scale this out to see if I can eventually retire from my 9 to 5. So it's not always a one or the other. How can you use a combination of each of these things to help incrementally get to where you need to get to? And this goes back to that resiliency about defining realistic goals. Because that goal, that's a great goal, North Star goal to have. I do not want to work in a 9 to 5 job. I want to be my own boss. That's why you're all in this room, because you all want to be your own boss. Now, there might be a process to get there, and that's okay. That is completely okay. But as long as you don't lose sight of where you're trying to go, you're going to be okay. Okay, so the last thing here is I want to talk about the high potential idea checklist. So whatever idea that you have that you're currently working on, that you're thinking about, remember these 6 things. The first one is, can you clearly articulate your idea in a sentence? Kind of like your elevator pitch. Right? Because if you're talking to folks and they don't understand sort of what you're doing, they're going to be scratching their head like, what do you mean? What is that? What value does that have to me? Right? Make sure that's very concrete and it makes sense. The second is, can you figure out how to make this happen quickly? I've talked to so many people that have had these excellent ideas. I say, okay, great. Well, if you needed to get that done in a month, how would you get it done? Well, I don't know, I need this, and I need this, and I need this. Well, now we start creeping into that feasibility aspect. If you can't get something done relatively quick, to kind of test it out and validate, why are you pouring all this energy into something that you don't know if it's even going to be successful? Make sure it's something that you can start small and execute on it quickly. The third is, will this actually solve a problem for someone? If you have no users for the product that you're working on, you don't have a product. If you have no users for what you're building, you do not have a product. Make sure that you're solving a problem for someone. The fourth, is there an obvious way to make money from this? It's a no-brainer, but here's the kicker. Is there an obvious way to make money reoccurring? That's really what the secret is. Because you might make money selling one or two things and say, okay, I've hit this goal, but if you can't see this continual chain, how can you grow and scale the business if you don't have that in place? The last one is, it's something that is easy to maintain. If you're building something out and it's something relatively small, imagine if all your resources are going, to help just maintain the business, and you're not able to kind of, make any money at all because it's just too complex in what it is that you're trying to do. Identifying the right opportunity means that you've gone through a checklist to see that if the idea that you have is even feasible, is it a high potential, and does it even make sense? If it doesn't make sense, it's okay. It's okay. Find something else to do. And if you're that passionate about the idea and what you need to happen, break it down in smaller chunks to see if you can't make incremental progress. Because sometimes, you might be just dreaming too big. And that's all right. Break it down. Break it down. There's some other things that I want to show you. These are books that I've read. 4 books that I live by. And I read these, I try to read these when I wouldn't say daily, but I kind of go back and look at these. The first one is Getting Things Done. This is all about trying to be stress-free. There are so many things that I do day to day, and I used to get stressed, overwhelmed. I would always say, I never have time to do anything. Never have time. Well, this book helps you, provides techniques and things like that. The second one is word-of-mouth marketing. One of the things that, I really like doing is, what can I do to get other people to talk about, what it is, right? Instead of spending money on a lot of advertising dollars, there are certain gimmicks or things that you can do to have other people kind of catch on, right? Go viral. There's things that you can do, and include that as part of your marketing plan when you're reaching out to your customers. The Lean Startup, great book. This is something about being very agile in the way that you execute on from a product development standpoint. Being able to do things that allow you to kind of scale incrementally. And the last is around thank you for being first, or thank you for being late. With this book, it's just interesting because with you there are so many competitors that are doing things right now. And a lot of times we tend to get discouraged. Oh man, there's someone else that has my idea. Well, guess back to the drawing board. If that was the case, we wouldn't have had MySpace to Facebook to Instagram. Someone's always iterating on something to making it that much more better. The demographic is changing. Things are evolving. The product and our mindset needs to evolve as well. So the exact same thing. So if you haven't read these books, pick them up, read through them. I'm telling you, it has a lot of great information. So the question that I have for you, and something that I just want to challenge you as you're kind of going through your journey, is how are you getting from the sideline to the field? How can you make sure that you are reaching your full potential, getting the experience that you need in order to continue to pave your way towards success? How does resiliency and passion play a role on your personal entrepreneurship journey? So I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
I'll take that. Thank you so much, Claude. Thank you. So I want to, thank you, first of all, to Claude, to the San Diego Miramar College Business Club students, to my students today. for coming here. And I want to encourage all of you to please come join us for a little networking out in the back patio. We're going to have some snacks and some drinks, so don't run off yet. Just come chat, just say hello for a little bit, and thank you all for being here.